The year was 1893. Imagine being just 12 years old, walking through the cold, cobbled streets of Germany, and suddenly losing everything you've ever known. This was the reality for Hans Wilsdorf. Both his parents were gone, leaving him orphaned and alone in a world that suddenly felt unforgiving. His only inheritance was a small sum of money, 3,300 German gold marks, tiny spark of security in an otherwise dark world. But fate wasn't finished. On a journey, that money was stolen, gone, vanished. All that remained was a boy, empty-handed, with a heart full of dreams. Yet, even in despair, Hans carried one unshakable passion: watches. Time, he thought, is the one thing no one can steal, and one day I will master it. His relatives sold his parents' business and sent him to a boarding school. There, in the cold dormitories, Hans found a friend from Switzerland who whispered secrets of Swiss watchmaking, the precision, the craft, the obsession with perfection. Something clicked inside him. Hans realized, this is where my life belongs. At 19, he left everything familiar and moved to Switzerland, the beating heart of horology. He got a job at chronometer, checking the accuracy of hundreds of watches every single day. The work was tedious, but Hans had a different view. Every tiny gear, every wheel, every second hand, each one told a story, and I will learn it all. Every watch he inspected was a lesson. Every mistake he corrected was a step toward mastery. Little did anyone know, this orphaned boy who had lost almost everything was quietly building a vision that would one day redefine time itself. A vision called Rolex. The year was 1893. 12-year-old Hans Wilsdorf's world collapsed when he lost both his parents, alone, orphaned, and with only a small inheritance. He faced a future shadowed in uncertainty. Everything I had, gone, Hans thought as he walked the streets of Germany, clutching the last proof of his parents' love, 3,300 German gold marks. But life was cruel. During a journey, the money was stolen, gone in the blink of an eye. Despite losing everything, Hans carried one treasure: his passion for watches. At boarding school, a Swiss friend introduced him to the intricate world of horology. Switzerland is where time comes alive, the friend whispered. That spark lit a fire in Hans's heart. By the age of 19, he was determined to make Switzerland his destiny. At chronometer, Hans inspected hundreds of watches daily. Too many, it was tedious work, but Hans saw perfection in every gear and wheel. Every second counts, he would murmur. Every watch he touched became a teacher. Every flaw, a lesson. By immersing himself in the craft, Hans silently prepared for a future that would redefine time itself. Little did anyone know, this orphaned boy was about to change the course of watchmaking forever. At 19, Hans left Germany for London. His dream was big. But fate threw him a cruel challenge. The 3,300 gold marks he had inherited were stolen during the journey. The setback could have ended his ambitions. Yet Hans didn't despair. I may have lost money, but I haven't lost my vision, he told himself. In London, Hans worked in the sales and marketing department of a watch company. Day after day, he studied manufacturing, sales, and consumer behavior. He noticed a problem. Most watches were decorative, but inaccurate. Customers wanted simple, durable, and precise timepieces. Driven to solve this, 24-year-old Hans decided to start his own business. Lacking capital, he partnered with his brother-in-law, forming Wilsdorf and Davis in 1905, their first creation. The portfolio pocket watch, smaller and sturdier than traditional pocket watches, designed especially for travelers. It was a hit. But Hans knew pocket watches were just the beginning. His vision was wristwatches, which were yet to be widely accepted by men. He observed British men and women wearing bracelets. An idea sparked: if we make wristwatches look like bracelets, they'll accept them. Gold and silver straps later transformed wristwatches into fashionable, elegant accessories. The strategy worked. Hans watches became popular across Britain. Soon, a name was needed. After testing hundreds of options, the pleasant-sounding Rolex was born, trademarked in 1908. Hans watches were stylish, but there was one flaw: accuracy. Importing Swiss movements helped at first, but Hans dreamed bigger. He studied horology, met expert watchmakers, and learned every detail of watch movement. Finally, he developed the 15-line caliber 200, the world's first wristwatch movement to receive a chronometer certificate. Rolex was no longer just stylish. It was precise. Hans' vision was working. His watches were now exported across Europe, and Wilsdorf and Davis expanded rapidly. Then came a global crisis. World War I. Britain imposed a 33% export duty, suddenly making Rolex watches far more expensive than competitors. Sales plummeted. Hans had to make a bold decision: relocate his business to Switzerland. There, Rolex Watch Co. Limited was born, and Hans restarted operations from scratch. During the war, wristwatches gained popularity among soldiers who needed precise timekeeping in combat. Pocket watches were impractical in the trenches. Hans capitalized on this with trench watches featuring unbreakable glass and luminescent hands. Soldiers wore them proudly, and civilians followed suit. Accuracy alone wasn't enough. Watches were damaged by dust and water. Hans revolutionized watch cases with the screw-down Oyster case, sealing the watch like a submarine hatch. In 1926, the Rolex Oyster was born, the world's first waterproof wristwatch. Marketing was revolutionary too. Hans signed Mercedes Gleitz, the swimmer attempting to cross the English Channel, as the first brand ambassador. Despite failing to finish, her watch remained perfect, cementing Rolex's reputation. Hans wasn't satisfied with manual winding. He invented the Perpetual rotor, making watches automatic. The Rolex Oyster Perpetual could now wind itself with the wearer's movements, a true innovation. Challenges persisted. World War II disrupted supply chains, and in 1944, Hans lost his wife. Yet he continued, launching revolutionary watches like the Datejust in 1945, featuring the first automatic date display, and later the Explorer, GMT Master, and Deep Sea Special. Each watch conquered extremes, mountains, oceans, and skies. By 1960, Hans Wilsdorf was 79, but his vision endured. Rolex had conquered accuracy, durability, and style. From the highest peaks of Everest to the deepest oceans, Rolex stood unmatched. Hans passed away in 1960, leaving behind a brand that made him immortal. Hans Wilsdorf's story is a testament to vision, perseverance, and relentless innovation. From an orphaned boy to the creator of the world's most iconic watch, he proved one thing: passion, when combined with ingenuity, can defy time itself. Hans Wilsdorf's journey wasn't just about watches, it was about vision, resilience, and daring to dream bigger than life itself. From a 12-year-old orphan in Germany to building a global empire in the watchmaking industry, Hans showed the world that challenges are only stepping stones to greatness. Every Rolex tells a story of precision, innovation, and pushing the limits of possibility. From the first waterproof Oyster to the Perpetual rotor, and from the deepest oceans to the highest mountains. Rolex watches aren't just instruments, they're a symbol of perseverance and excellence. Hans' life teaches us that setbacks, loss, or even the harshest failures cannot stop someone fueled by passion. His journey reminds us that with determination, creativity, and courage, one can turn dreams into legacies that last longer than a lifetime. So, the next time you see a Rolex, remember it's not just a watch, it's a testament to unwavering vision, relentless innovation, and the power of believing in yourself against all odds. And maybe, just maybe, it will inspire you to chase your own dreams, no matter how impossible they may seem.